Hello everyone. Welcome to Inventive Solution. We're delving into a subject that is critical to understanding the geopolitical landscape of our times. The U.S. China Chip War and its impact on smaller powers. At the crux of this war is the semiconductor chip, an indispensable component of almost every electronic device today. The chip as a strategic commodity. Semiconductors are at the heart of modern technology, powering everything from smartphones to advanced military hardware. They have not only enabled technological advancement, but have become a strategic asset in the 21st century global economy. This has turned the chip manufacturing industry into a high-stakes battleground, pitting superpowers like the United States and China against each other. The U.S. China rivalry. For decades, the United States has been the leader in semiconductor technology, housing giants like Intel, Qualcomm, and AMD. China, in its quest to become a self-reliant technological superpower, has heavily invested in its semiconductor industry. The ambition is to break free from the dependence on American and Taiwanese companies like Qualcomm, Intel, and TSMC. Hello everyone, welcome to the Inventive Solution YouTube channel. Your groundbreaking and impactful initiatives reshaping our world. If this is your first time here and you're passionate about revolutionary story from around the globe, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give a thumbs up, and drop a comment. Let's dive right in. In this climate, export controls, sanctions, and trade barriers have become the weapons of choice. The U.S. has sought to restrict the export of advanced chip technology to China, citing national security concerns. In retaliation, China has fast-tracked its chip-making capabilities and looked into alternative supply chains, impact on smaller powers. So, where do smaller powers fit into this sprawling canvas? Caught in the crossfire of this chip war, smaller nations are feeling the heat in several ways. Smaller countries often serve as intermediate links in the global supply chain. U.S. restrictions have led to disruptions that ripple across these smaller economies. Taiwan, for example, finds itself in a precarious position, being a close ally of the U.S. and a crucial chip supplier to both nations. Smaller countries that either host American or Chinese semiconductor facilities are subjected to increased political pressure from both sides. Countries in Southeast Asia, like Malaysia and Vietnam, face a tough balancing act. Dependency on either American or Chinese technology puts these countries at risk of economic instability. Any sanction or export control imposed by one superpower can lead to immediate ramifications on employment, GDP, and technological progress. We are also seeing a trend of technological ecosystems being split along geopolitical lines. Countries have to choose between adopting American or Chinese technologies, often causing inefficiencies and increased costs for adaptation. Real-world example, the Huawei dilemma. Let's consider the case of Huawei, the Chinese tech giant that found itself at the epicenter of the chip war. Countries around the world, especially smaller powers, had to decide whether to allow Huawei's participation in their 5G networks. Doing so would mean running afoul of the U.S., which has been vocal about the supposed security risks. However, not doing so would mean losing out on the rapid deployment of affordable 5G technology offered by Huawei. The way forward. So what's the way forward? Smaller powers need to adopt multifaceted strategies rather than relying solely on American or Chinese supply chains. Diversifying sources of technology is crucial. Countries could look into partnerships with the European Union, South Korea, or Japan. Investing in local semiconductor technology can provide a long-term buffer against the uncertainties of geopolitics. This, however, requires time and significant investment. Diplomatic channels must be kept open with both the U.S. and China to negotiate exception or seek middle ground solutions to mitigate immediate challenges. If you're loving what you're seeing, remember to subscribe, give us a like, and share this video. While the U.S. China Chip War may be framed as a clash of titans, the repercussions extend far beyond their borders. Smaller powers are not merely passive spectators but active participants who bear the brunt of these skirmishes. How they navigate this complex landscape will shape not just their technological future, but also their geopolitical destiny. Technological sovereignty. One emerging term we are hearing more frequently is technological sovereignty. This concept suggests that nations should have control over their own digital destiny. However, for smaller countries lacking the vast resources and technological infrastructure of the U.S. or China, Achieving this sovereignty is a Herculean task. For instance, European nations like France and Germany are pushing for technological independence, and even they are finding it challenging. For smaller countries with fewer resources, this objective appears even more unattainable, making them more susceptible to external pressures in the chip war. National security implications. Security is another critical angle. As semiconductor technology increasingly integrates into defense and intelligence systems, the reliability of these chips becomes a matter of national security. For smaller countries, depending on a supply chain that can be disrupted due to geopolitics compromises their security infrastructure. This concern further escalates when these nations need to choose sides, potentially alienating a major superpower. Environmental concerns. Semiconductor manufacturing is an environmentally intensive process involving a range of chemicals and significant energy usage. As smaller powers look toward developing their semiconductor industry, they must also grapple with the environmental implications, which can be a considerable challenge for countries already facing environmental issues. The role of multilateral organizations, like the World Trade Organization, could theoretically serve as arbiters in trade conflicts like the chip war. However, the effectiveness of these organizations is in question, especially in an era marked by increasing nationalism and unilateral actions by major powers. Final thoughts. As we dig deeper into the U.S. China Chip War, it becomes increasingly evident that this isn't a battle in isolation. It's part of a larger narrative of technological control, economic prowess, and global influence. While it's easy to focus on the superpowers at play, the fate of smaller nations caught in the crossfire is equally compelling and concerning. In the long term, the ripple effects of this war could redraw not just the technological landscape, but also the geopolitical alliances and economic dependencies that have been the cornerstone of the global order. Smaller nations, therefore, must exercise careful diplomacy, strategic planning, and foresight to navigate this turbulent era. Thank you again for joining this in-depth discussion. As always, the subject is ongoing and the landscape is ever-changing. We'll continue to keep an eye on developments, as should you. If you are interested in seeing more content like this, then don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe for unique videos focusing on China's remarkable development and expanding influence. Your ongoing support through subscriptions and likes inspires us to create more content. So keep the love coming and stay tuned for the next video.